He was Harry Potter, the boy who lived, on screen and off. But what most people don't know is that Daniel Radcliffe became an alcohol addict while the world cheered him on. Behind the fame, he was unraveling. There were rumors about his sexuality he didn't shy away from. And when he lost his virginity, let's just say she was old enough to be his mom. This is the side of Daniel Radcliffe you've never seen, the messy, raw, and honestly way more human story behind the wizard. 1. Role in Harry Potter and cultural impact. Harry Potter wasn't just a character, he was a cultural moment. When Daniel Radcliffe was cast in 2000 at just 11 years old, no one could have predicted how deeply he would shape the most iconic coming-of-age story of a generation. The moment he appeared on screen, small and serious behind round glasses and a lightning-shaped scar, it was clear this wasn't just a lucky casting choice. Daniel was Harry, an outsider with something simmering beneath the surface: resilience, empathy, and quiet courage. Over the course of 8 films, Radcliffe's performance evolved from instinctive to fully formed. His Harry wasn't shiny or noble. He was raw, angry, sometimes lost. But he always came back to love, loyalty, and that deep moral core that made the character resonate with millions. He wasn't the hero who always knew what to do. He was the one who did the right thing anyway, even when it hurt. That's what made him unforgettable. Critics recognized the transformation. He started as a child actor, but ended the series as a fully capable dramatic lead. And for the audience, he did more than bring a fantasy to life. He gave us someone to grow up with. Before all that, though, Radcliffe's story began in a far more ordinary world, one filled with books, creativity, and quiet introspection. 2. Early life before Harry Potter. Daniel Jacob Radcliffe was born on July 23, 1989 in West London. His mother, Marcia Gresham, worked as a casting agent. His father, Alan Radcliffe, was a literary agent. The house was modest, but full of stories. There was a quiet intellectual energy to the family, one that didn't push him toward the spotlight, but didn't stop him when curiosity took hold. As an only child, Daniel spent a lot of time in his own head. He was imaginative but not showy, more observant than outgoing. At school, he struggled with dyspraxia, a coordination disorder that made things like handwriting unusually difficult. It chipped away at his confidence. But there was always something else, an intensity, a depth, a need to express. He wasn't dreaming of fame. He just found something freeing in reading aloud, in escaping into stories. His mother noticed that spark and supported his early interest in performing, encouraging him to try small school productions. Acting wasn't a career goal. It was a way of feeling grounded, especially in a world that often felt overwhelming. By the time he entered adolescence, that creative curiosity had turned into something stronger. Not ambition exactly, more like a quiet readiness, a pull toward the unknown. And then came the role that changed everything, turning a private, bookish boy into one of the most recognized faces in the world. 3. Career before and after Harry Potter. Before landing Harry Potter, Daniel had only a few professional credits, including a role in a BBC adaptation of David Copperfield. He was still largely unknown when he auditioned. The casting process was intense, global, and closely followed. When Daniel was chosen, some were skeptical. But once filming began, doubts vanished. His performance had weight even at that young age. The franchise launched him into instant stardom, but what followed set him apart. After the final film, many expected him to play it safe. Instead, he ran headfirst into risk. On stage, he took on Equus, playing a disturbed teenager in a role that demanded full vulnerability, both emotional and physical. It was a clear message. He wasn't here to coast. He followed with bold, unexpected projects: The Woman in Black, Kill Your Darlings, Swiss Army Man, Horns, and more. Some were surreal, some tragic, some comedic, but each one stretched him. He wasn't chasing awards, though critics often praised his work. He was chasing challenge. On stage, he proved himself again in The Cripple of Inishmaan and Endgame. On screen, he embraced the weird and the indie. He became the actor people underestimated until they watched him work. But it was his off-screen candor that revealed just how much he'd lived, both in the spotlight and outside of it. 4. Personal life and off-screen truths. Growing up on camera was never going to be easy. Daniel has spoken openly about the psychological toll of sudden global fame. By the time he was a teenager, he couldn't walk down the street without being recognized. At first, he tried to manage the pressure silently. But in his early 20s, he began drinking to cope, especially before red carpets and interviews. He drank privately, even obsessively, until it became clear he was losing control. Then he stopped, quietly, and rebuilt. He's also spoken with unusual honesty about losing his virginity. He was young, and the woman was much older. He said it wasn't scandalous or dramatic, just part of growing up in unusual circumstances. His openness about these personal moments hasn't been attention-seeking. It's been disarming, humanizing. He told the truth because it helped him move forward. Today, Daniel lives a private, grounded life with longtime partner Aaron Dark, whom he met on a film set. He avoids the celebrity circuit and has no public social media. He prefers quiet days, reading, writing, supporting the arts. He's also donated generously to literacy programs, LGBTQ+ advocacy, and mental health causes. While not overtly political, his values are clear: compassion, privacy, and authenticity. Those who work with him often describe him the same way: thoughtful, humble, occasionally odd, but always kind. Fame didn't distort him. If anything, it sharpened his self-awareness. And now, at 35, Radcliffe stands at a turning point, not defined by what he's done, but by what he's still choosing to become. 5. In 2025, where is he now? At 35 years old in 2025, Daniel Radcliffe continues to surprise. He still acts, but on his own terms, picking projects based on gut instinct, not studio pressure. He's taken on indie films, voice acting, limited-run theater productions, and has quietly moved into producing, helping elevate emerging writers and directors. He rarely seeks the spotlight, but he occasionally joins Harry Potter reunions and interviews, where he speaks with humility and humor about his place in pop culture. He knows what the role meant, and still means, to people. He's never dismissed it, but he's never let it define him either. Where some child actors fade, Daniel grew into himself. Not as a brand, as an artist. In a world that often demands reinvention, Daniel Radcliffe did something braver. He stayed curious, stayed weird, and stayed true. He may always be remembered as Harry Potter, but that's only part of the story. The rest? He's still writing it, one unexpected choice at a time.